Hey everybody, I'm going to be recording, I guess, replays of the latest daily event that I just played in. I ended up going 3-1, and I just wanted to record this video to go over my thought process while playing. I should have done this during the daily event, but I didn't really think to do so before it got started. I kind of got home a little too late to get everything set up. I'm going to be going through my 4 matches, going through commentary on my thoughts on playing the deck and the matchups. Hopefully you guys enjoy. My goal is to become a better player by recording these videos. So this is round 1. We win the die roll. We're playing against Red-Green Tron. And Red-Green Tron is a matchup that I feel like is favored. I'm playing Tarmo Twin. I should probably go over my list first. So let's do that. So this is the current Tarmo Twin list that I'm playing. It runs 22 lands and some creatures and spells. So kind of to start off, you have kind of a basic Tarmo Twin shell here. 4 Splinter Twins, 2 Cryptic Commands. You've got the Electrolyze. You're running Remand, Snapcasters, Tarmogoyf, Serum Visions, Probes, Flame Slashes, Lightning Bolts, Pester Mites. The variation from this list and like stuff that like Patrick Digman was playing at Pro Tour Born of the Gods is you are running, I'm running 2 Spell Snares in place of 1 Remand, and as well as the Scavenging Ooze slots. Instead of the second Scavenging Ooze, we're running a 3rd island, playing 2 Deceiver Exarchs and 4 Pester Mites. The reason for the split right now is because Pester Mite lets you get very aggressive in situations, whereas Deceiver Exarch does not. It plays more of a defensive, reactive plan. In terms of the lands, I've cut the Hinterland Harbors for Tectonic Edges, and my idea for that is because I no longer need a double green commitment because I'm not running Ooze in the main deck. I currently don't have Tron in the board right now either, and Tectonic Edge does help improve matchups against decks such as Scapeshift, as Tron. Well, Tron doesn't really count, but Scapeshift, control decks where you just utterly fold dead to Celestial Colonnade, and it's been working well for me so far, and I like it. In the board, I'm running 2 Ancient Grudges. This is kind of like an anti-affinity package, 2 Grudges, a Nature's Claim, and those, typically have a very good matchup against Affinity. I feel like Affinity is something that I understand a lot more than I did when I first started playing this deck, and I feel like it's better to not play 3 Grudges unless you know for a fact you're going to a field full of just like, 30-40% plus Affinity. I'm running Anger of the Gods as the sweeper of choice here. It helps against Malaripod. It helps against Affinity, other aggro decks. Batterskull, I feel like, is very, very clutch in some of these aggro matchups. Batterskull represents a threat that a lot of decks just cannot handle, especially with the fact that you can return it to your hand and recast it over and over again. Some standard sideboard cards. Combust for Twin Mirrors. It also hits Celestial Colonnade. It's overall a very good card. I like Counterflux, Dispel, and Negate. I'm running 2 Negate instead of 1. The reason why I'm doing that is because I like to have an extra counterspell, especially for these control matchups where people might think, all right, great, his Negate's in the yard or it's been exiled. I can play this safely. It's kind of a nice surprise. Some people don't really expect that second Negate. 3 Molten Rains in the board. The Molten Rains and the the Tech Edges, the Spellsters and stuff. It's kind of a hybrid from the Bazaar of Moxen top 8 list as well as the GP Minneapolis one. GP Minneapolis, the top 8 performer was running Spell Snares in the main deck, and I really like Spell Snare. Spell Snare hits Tarmogoyf in the mirror, or just Tarmogoyf outright. Hits Dark Confidants, it hits Snapcaster Mages, other Remands. I feel like Spell Snare is very good in a lot of the matchups that currently matter. Against Affinity, it's another weapon that you can use against their Cranial Plating, their Arcbound Ravagers, and it's just very strong. So I like the fact that I'm at 2 Spell Snares, and I think this is where I do want to be. Molten Rains are, part of that board from the Bazaar of Moxen top 8, and I've been trying them out. I do like them a lot, and as you'll see in a couple of these videos, they do help me quite a bit. I feel like, it's part, getting lucky, and also part, some modern mana bases are really greedy, and people don't really expect to be, seeing Molten Rains out of the board in a Tarmo Twin list, and so they might just, play a little bit more loose. And I feel like that work to my advantage in my daily event. So you know what? Let's go back and take a look. Oh, and I mean, there's the lone threads here. I feel like we all know what threads is here for. You know, it gets creatures in the mirror. It grabs your opposing Tarmogoyfs. It grabs, you know, Tarmogoyfs and Dark Confidants. It grabs Voice of Resurgence. It's overall very good, but right now with all the stuff in the sideboard, I really only want one threads at this time. And I've been playing with one threads. It's been okay so far. I'm kind of concerned I might be cutting the threads and running something else instead, but we'll see. So this is game one. We win the die roll. This is our hand. It's not honestly the best blind keep. It does have a turn 2 remand. It does have a turn 3 Pestermite, and my justification for this keep is that, you know, I have Remand and Pestermite, I have Snapcasters to recur them. I feel like this is a nice hand to start off with as a blind keep. I feel like the one thing that would make this hand better is, you know, a Serum Visions, and, you know, we'll see where it goes. So my opponent goes ahead and mulligans the 6 cards. Okay. Play a Scalding Tarn, and I pass the turn. My opponent leads off with Urza's Mine into Expedition Map. That's a Tron list right there. Whether he's Mono Blue Tron or Red Green Tron, I don't know yet, but do find out shortly he is a Red Green Tron list. Goes ahead and passes turn. I'm going to fetch. I'll grab a Steam Vents tapped. Steam Vents instead of Breeding Pool because I like to have access to double red as opposed to double green. Untap. I'm going to play the Tectonic Edge here. And reasoning is I want to keep up Remand in case there's anything I can Remand. I don't really want to run out that Stomping Ground just yet. I just want to have my opponent guessing a little bit more when I'm playing. And because it's Tron, my life total doesn't really matter very much against Tron, because if they're ahead, they're way ahead. There's really not much math that you want to do. They're either way ahead with an Emrakul or a Wormcoil Engine or a Ulamog or something, and it's just overall, you know, you can play a little bit loose against Tron with your life total than against other decks. He's going to tap. He's going to play a second Urza piece, Tower. He's going to have a natural Tron turn 3. I do want to keep Remand up next turn. So he is going to pass turn. I'm going to go ahead, end of turn, play Snapcaster Mage, and my intention here is to apply some pressure on his life total. I want to start beating down and just pressuring him to really make some moves instead of just sitting back here and doing nothing. Let me go ahead, play Snapcaster, pass, untap, draw a Cryptic. Okay. I'm going to play Stomping Ground untapped. And my intention here is I'm going to upkeep, tap down his tower with one of my creatures here, one of my combo pieces. Bash in for 2, bring him to 18. And he's going to go ahead, pop the Expedition Map as expected, grab Power Plant. Cool. Untap. And he's going to play the Power Plant here, and looks like I did not Pestermite or tap him down or anything last turn. Guess I'm holding up Remand here, which is correct. The idea for holding up Remand is to hopefully draw into another land, so this way I can Snapcast Remand the following turn afterwards and apply more pressure on his life total. So I'm going to Remand. Drawing Serum Visions, okay. Untap. I draw the Flame Slash, and I don't consider using Serum Visions right here, and the reason why is because I do want to keep up that Pestermite or Deceiver Exarch, and now that he has Tron, now that he's shown me that he can use it, I want to be able to at the very least tap something down. If I tap down the tower, he has another tower, for example, he's most likely going to cast Karn and exile the combo piece, in which, I can still keep bashing in. So I'm going to go ahead and bash in, taking the 16. Going to tap, upkeep. I'm going to play Pestermite, tap down his Urza's tower. He's going to draw, and the problem here is punt number 1. I really should have played Deceiver Exarch instead. Deceiver Exarch dodges the neat Pyroclasm that he has in hand. And Pestermite does not. And there we go, we die. Plays Relic. Exile the creature. This way, Snapcaster on Remand is still alive. He's going to pass. I draw the Bolt. Bolt is good. His next turn, I'm going to Deceiver Exarch here, and I'm going to still tap down the Urza's Tower. And, you know, this time around, if he does have another land, if he can Karn and he exiles a combo piece, I can still untap, bolt, redirect a Karn, kill that off, which is good. So he naturally draws a tower. Great life. He plays Karn, exiles my Exarch as I expected. I go ahead and remove Snapcaster to Relic. And what I'm going to do here is, on my turn, my intention is to bolt, redirect to Karn, kill it off. And, you know, now that he's got 4 lands, I do want to activate Tectonic Edge. It's really going to put the two of us, or at least me, into top decking mode here, but I feel like it's necessary because I do not want him to be able to generate that obscene amount of mana, especially this early in the game. So I'm going to bolt, redirect Karn, kill it, Tech Edge. I'm going to get rid of the power plant. Obviously, one of these two pieces, getting rid of the tower does nothing at this point. There really isn't a decision in why the power plant over the mine. He still has 3 of each in his deck, and you know it's kind of negligible on which one was selected. Pass, he untaps. He pops the relic. Fine, draws a card. Does not draw land. Passes turn. I draw a Pestermite. I'm into Serum Visions right now, and at this point I really do want to dig for land. So I'm going to cast Serum Visions. It hits a Gitaxian Probe and a Steam Vents. I draw a Misty Rainforest off of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the Misty. I'm not intending on cracking it so I can draw my next land. I put the Probe on bottom and the Steam Vents on top. That's a mistake. That's mistake number 2 there. I should have kept the Probe on top because, again, as I said earlier in the video, you know, the life total is very negligible here. And I want to be able to, you know, get as much information, as much value as I can. So I should have kept the Probe on top, which would have given me a free look at his library, or at his hand. So he draws, plays Chromatic Sphere, okay. Pops it for green, grabs his tower, or taps it. Sylvan Scrying for power plant. Alright. I'm going to untap, play the Steam Vents untapped, and it's great timing that the Serum Visions hit this well, because this way I'm going to be able to, you know, hold up Cryptic Command if I need to counter whatever spell he intends on playing if he does play one. So he's going to tap his mana, he's going to cast the Sundering Titan, and we are not going to let that resolve. So I'm going to crack the Misty Rainforest, grab a land, blue source, Cryptic, counter draw, he plays Misty, fine. Or I draw Misty, he plays Relic, fine. He's going to pop the Relic right now, as he's going to try to draw another card, okay? He's going to pass. I'm going to untap, Remand is a good draw, I'm going to play Misty Rainforest here. And I'm going to pass turn. And right now, you know, I've got a good hand here, so I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to play Pestermite, tap down Azur's Tower, and, you know, kind of telling him, if you have something, play it, and it, at some degree, some level, it does, you know, it does tell him, perhaps I don't have anything. Why don't you give it a shot? So he's going to go ahead and do so. He's going to try for Karn. I'm going to fetch again. I'm going to grab a Breeding Pool at this point. Going to Remand. Draw Pestermite. Great. Untap. Play Misty. Bastion with Pestermite, bring him down to 14. And so, you know, I know his next turn is he's going to be playing Karn again. He's going to have 10 available mana. Pestermite really doesn't do anything right now. I want to get into a situation where I can, you know, in response to his Karn, cast Pestermite, untap a land, so I have 4 up, so I can Snapcast Remand. And, you know, it's kind of a dangerous play because he could still have, you know, his second Pyroclasm to really deal with that. But what he does next turn kind of surprises me. He plays his Grove of the Burn Willows early. He goes ahead and, you know, plays a game land, taps for red, and he goes ahead and Pyroclasms right now. Cool. So he does that, and then he tries to cast his Karn with 2 mana available. This point, it's going to allow me to, you know, play the exact line that I wanted to earlier. I'm going to crack Misty Rainforest, grab a land, Pestermite, untap land, Snapcaster Remand. I'm gonna have 4 power on the board. That's a bolt. That's a great draw. And he's gonna say go. Alright, and then my next turn, I'm going to untap, draw a Tarmogoyf. I'm going to bring him down to 10 right now with this attack. I'm going to cast a Goyf. Casting Tarmogoyf still leaves up 4 mana, which is going to give me access to Bolt, Snapcaster Bolt, and that's going to deal another 6 damage to him. It's going to lay a lot of pressure on him. By playing this Tarmogoyf, I'm effectively blanking Karn, because Karn is going to have to be spending 1 turn getting rid of one of my 3 attackers, and then I'm going to play another one and still deal 6 points of damage and bring him down to 4. At this point, I feel like the game is completely locked up. The one thing he could have is Oblivion Stone, but if he does play Oblivion Stone, I can still end of turn Bolt, Snapcast Bolt, and still bash in for 2, depending on just how hasty he is in his plays. So I play Tarmogoyf, and taps, plays Karn. Okay, that resolves. He's going to go ahead and... Oh yeah, I crashed on Moto at that point. He's going to go ahead and cast Sylvan Scrying. He's grabbing an Eye of Ugin. His intention is next turn, look for something. He's kind of in survival mode. He wants to resolve Spellskite and use it to block, block Snapcaster Mage, take 2 a turn. He's hoping that I don't have anything in hand. At this point, honestly, it's a little too late for him. He plays, Spellskite. I'm going to Bolt Snapcast Bolt in response. Reason being, I want him to take 6 instead of taking, 4 or 5. So I'm going to go ahead and Bolt him. Don't redirect. Snapcaster Mage. Bolt again. Don't redirect. And he's going to use Karn, exile Tarmogoyf. That's fine. At this point, I have, Flame Slash on Spellskite, and I'm going to hit him for 6. So that's how game 1 goes. And let's start game 2. So game 2, this is the hand that I look at. It's relatively a bit slower than I would like it to be. I'm on the draw. I'm going to be seeing, 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 cards before I really need to dig for some action. The Tarmogoyf is a good early threat. He has Relic. He's going to have Relic. But, if I can manage that Relic properly, it's going to, do really well. So I keep this hand. He keeps 7. He plays turn 1, Power Plant, Relic. That's fine. I'm going to untap, draw for the turn. And, I drew a Scalding Tarn. I probe him, and I went a little faster, but his hand was Dismember, Urza's Mine, or Urza's Tower, one of the other 2 Urza pieces, a Karn Liberated, an Oblivion Stone, and a Nature's Claim. He's kept a quite risky hand. He really needs to hit land / a colored source pretty quickly, and we'll see where that takes him. I'm going to play my Misty Rainforest and pass for the turn. He is going to go ahead and just make me exile land. It's fine. Or get tax and probe, whatever. He untaps, plays Tower, and passes. And I really should have cracked this Misty Rainforest at end turn. I really don't know why I didn't. I should have cracked it, grabbed a Breeding Pool, and this way I could have, gone ahead and played, say, turn 2 Goyf without doing too many shenanigans. I play Scalding Tarn on this turn, and, I kind of decide in my second main phase, yes, let's go ahead and just play this Goyf right now. So I crack both fetches here, go to 14, play Tarmogoyf. I should have grabbed that Breeding Pool last turn. Would have been in the same life, had a better land in play, per se. And obviously, he doesn't play Blood Moon or anything, so there really is no harm getting non-basic land here. He's going to make me exile land. Okay, whatever. He's going to tap, and he is going to blank. He's going to draw a Ghost Quarter. That's not a very ideal, third land for him. He wants an Urza piece, or he wants, a Grove of the Burned Willows or something to be able to, get going. And he's got a Chromatic Sphere in the yard, which is good for me. Lets me say, play a Misty and, bash in. So I'm going to go ahead and play my land for turn. It's going to be an island this time. I just want to make sure that I can manage his relic a little bit better. And my intention is to just Pester Mine and tap down his tower at the beginning of his upkeep anyways. So I'm going to bash in for 1. Pass turn, upkeep, Pester Mine, hit his Urza's tower. And I'm just kind of doing a mana denial plan right now. I'm just trying to keep him low on mana to be able to cast any of his threats. He's going to pop that relic in response, which is really good for me. This way, I managed it. Now anything else will grow Tarmogoyf a little bit better. He draws a card, so he's seeing 2 cards this turn. He plays Chromatic Star, passes turn. That's good for me still. I draw Cryptic. Cool. Play the Misty. My intention is to crack the Misty and grab a land at the beginning before damage is calculated. And my intention was to grab a blue source, but major brain fart, I grabbed a Stomping Ground. Grabbed an untapped. Okay, punt. I'm really glad at this point that this really didn't just cost me the game. It really could have and it really should have, but thankfully it didn't. So he's going to untap. End of turn, pop the Chromatic Star, get nothing out of it. I'm going to upkeep Pester Mite again, deny him some mana. He's going to play his Torpor Orb. Cool. I mean, it really doesn't do anything for me at this point. I still have some combo pieces, so it's mildly annoying, but at this point, he's at 13. I just bolted him at end of turn to grow Tarmogoyf even bigger at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have him dead in 2 turns. So I'm going to untap, and that's a great draw right there. Molten Rain effectively locked this game up for me. I'm going to Molten Rain the Urza Tower, but I really should have played the Tectonic Edge first and tapped a little bit differently. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up tapping the Stomping Ground, Steam Vents, and Forest in order to Molten Rain it, which will prevent me from playing a second Tarmogoyf. And, in retrospect, it didn't matter, but it's just really poor management of resources on my end. So I'm going to bash in. He goes to 3. He's dead to a bolt. He's dead to pretty much everything. He draws his Urza's Mine, finally. But it doesn't matter anymore. He just grudges his own thing, or claims his own thing, dismembers my Goyf, and just dies to my Pester Mites.